Jack Stauber, in the course of his career, has created many wonderful songs and films. But out of all of his works, Opal is arguably his true masterpiece. The story already has so many interesting twists and turns, but could there still be one mystery left to uncover? Hello my starlings, my name is Yukono and I'll be your host. Before we continue this video, I just wanted to say that there will be spoilers. If you haven't checked out Jack Stauber's Opal, you can find the link down there in the description below. Feel free to check it out. And now, with that out of the way, on with the show. I love Opal because every time I watch it, I notice something new. Even small things can change the meaning of a scene. Like a throwaway line that I never thought much about before, but on this particular day when the moon and stars aligned, it stood out to me like a neon flashing sign.
Just like these people on television, Claire, you're far more interested in me than anything you got going on.
Interested? Who's interested in you, Gramps? I mean, from what I can tell, the people around you, your son, your daughter-in-law, who is who, it doesn't matter, because they aren't giving you the time of day any more than they're giving poor Claire the time of day. So I just really don't think that you're
unpopular here.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That hit different somehow. Let me see if I've got this right. They're interested in you because you're popular. On TV? At first, I wrote it off. It was just my sleep-deprived brain playing tricks on me. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that I'd stumbled upon a big family secret. Because if Claire's grandfather really is a famous TV star, then that changes everything, doesn't it? So I started hunting for clues. First, I noticed something about the house they live in. It's actually pretty big. 3 stories big. And it seems to be on a generous portion of land, too. The house looks pretty worn down. It's definitely seen better days. But judging by the wallpaper alone, I bet that it was a really nice place in its heyday. It probably even hosted some fabulous parties. I mean, according to this theory, Gramps was a TV star after all. I bet he wined and dined a lot of well-known people. Maybe even some up-and-coming starlets. And ever since I started going down this rabbit hole, another line hits, just a little bit differently.
Idea salesman, they want my soul, Claire. They fight over me like dogs.
So he's accustomed to everyone he comes into contact with wanting something from him. Probably money. Money that, judging by the state of the house and everyone in it, has long since run out. So we have ourselves a good chunk of evidence. But if Grandpa was a TV star whose time in the spotlight has long since come to an end, what about the rest of the family? Claire's father is an interesting one. He's a lot less cryptic than the other members of his family, and is even nice enough to tell us himself where his life went wrong.
They turned me down, now I live my nightmare. Gotta be seen by someone out there.
Everyone always says that the father is just a narcissist. The father always demands attention and is preening in front of his dozens of mirrors. So that's actually a reasonable conclusion to draw. But what if there's something deeper at work here? Let's take a closer look. I think these lines are even more evidence of Grandpa's past stardom and that Claire's father is actually his son. If that is the case, it makes his complaints relatable and actually really sad. Picture this. Your father's making money hand over fist by showing up on television in front of an audience of thousands of people. He's a really famous man with a lot of really famous friends. And you're just that little boy in the background watching your papa shine. You want to be just like him. Because maybe if you are, your father will be proud of you and reserve a spot in his busy schedule to spend some time with you. So you start taking acting classes, volunteering at your local theater, and staying in whenever your dad has one of his grand parties, hoping to mingle and get your foot in the door somewhere. You end up spending most of your night making yourself useful, in quotes, by making sure that none of the guests' champagne glasses run dry. But in the meantime, you do manage to get a few good words in to the right people. It's not much, but it'll have to do. That's the most help you're going to get from your pops, after all. Why, the privilege of even getting to be seen by these people is more of a shot than he ever had. Something he likes to remind you of constantly. But maybe this is all for your benefit. Maybe by taking the long way around, you'll come out stronger for it. The day is finally here. You audition your heart out. Everything you've worked for has come down to this moment. But then you hear it.
Thanks for coming out for this, but you're not what we're looking for. Maybe try again next time?
And you do. You try and you try and you try. But each and every time, you fail. You're just not what they want. At all. And one of them finally has the courtesy to say it to your face.
Sorry, kid. Sometimes talent skips a generation.
You're just not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough.
Not good enough.
And that's where you stay. Stuck in that moment even years later. Even after getting married. Even after having a kid. You just can't escape the reflections of what you wish with all of your heart could have been. And what will never be. Well, that's 2 pieces of the puzzle. Now let's move on to Claire's mother, aka Mirror Man's wife, and Grandpa's daughter-in-law. But first, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like. You know, since it makes YouTube want to share this video with other people. Also, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, my starlings, so that you can find us again here for more entertaining content. Thank you so much. And now, on with the show. Let me just say that out of all of the adults in that house, Claire's mom is arguably the scariest. Her room has been completely destroyed. Not like the living room where trash was piled up because Grandpa is old, sick, blind, and very clearly dementia-stricken. No. This room was ransacked by someone given to fits of rage. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's go through the room and see what it tells us. The first thing I noticed was how not a single painting was straight. I assumed some kind of sickness was forcing the person who lived there to move around the room, clinging to the walls. But then I rewatched the opening and understood that it was the abuse of substances making the occupant feel dizzy enough to feel around for support. But besides that, there was stuff everywhere. But it just didn't feel like the living room's kind of mess. It really felt like the objects had been thrown. But maybe I was reading too much into things. That's what I thought until I met Claire's mother face to face. The little girl wasn't the only one getting jump scared. And that grip, it's like seeing a rabbit caught in a snare. Claire is terrified, and her mom knows it. This woman is cruel. But there's one line of hers in particular that just sets me off.
You're just like me. You're just as powerless as I am, Claire. See?
Correction. This woman isn't just cruel. She's a monster. She's unhinged and so out of control the way she treats her daughter that if I was there, I'd be calling the proper authorities before shaking some sense into that witch like she was a bottle of soda pop. But then I remember this is just an analysis video and everything's okay and I should put my protective instincts away and that Opal doesn't really exist and everything's fine. Let's move on, shall we? Picture this. A young lady steps out of a bus with a suitcase that contains everything she owns. She's 16, But she tells everyone she meets that she's 18. It's better to lie than to get caught. Anything is better. Even working 2 waitressing jobs and sleeping in a cold, leaky basement apartment. At least she wasn't back home. With them. A few years pass by, and she decides to take everything she's managed to scrape together and move to the big city. She's going to Hollywood. There's opportunity there after all, under those big, shiny, flashing lights. Maybe she'll become a dancer, or an actress, or a waitress. She's just a waitress, again. But hey, the tips are better and there's a lot of handsome gentlemen here, with a lot of money. And she's not half bad looking. Maybe there is some opportunity for her here after all. It's a late night when a new face wanders into the cocktail bar. Hey there, handsome. What can I do you for?
I don't know. Something hard and fast.
Wow, one of those kinds of nights, huh?
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
She spends the rest of her shift pouring scotch on the rocks for a man who regaled her with story after story of his journey to becoming an actor.
I just know that I'm gonna hit the big time one day, just like my old man.
She switched the drink up, something a little lighter this time. Oh, really? Who's your pops? The glass she was holding shattered on the marble floor below. That was coming out of her check, but she couldn't bring herself to care, not when she had finally found what she was waiting for. Let me get this straight. Your father is who? The weeks fly by after that. The other waitresses look on in shock as she gets off her shift and gets picked up by her new boyfriend in a Mercedes. The car belongs to his old man, but he swears up and down that when he gets his foot in the door of acting, that he'll be getting one for himself. And she believes him. She believes every word. He's definitely got his father's genes after all. Such a handsome man. His personality leaves little to be desired, since he's always talking about himself as if he's God's gift to humanity. But to make it in Hollywood, one would have to be a little pompous, right? And while his old man doesn't seem to care much for you, you just know he'll come around. Slowly, she rests her hand on her stomach that is a little more round than usual. Was that a kick? A smile creases her lips. It will all be worth it, in the end. Only it wasn't worth it. Not at all. How could everything have gone so horribly wrong in just 5 years? She had a baby and named her Claire. It felt like a good name for the grandchild of someone so famous. Perhaps it was even a name that suited a future actress. His son may not have gotten much of a hand up in that field, since the patriarch of the family believed in no free rides, but surely he'd make an exception for his own granddaughter, right? And while her husband was still struggling to find his niche in Hollywood, maybe in a few years he'd be ready to move out of being an extra and into a role that was more refined. Like maybe the brother of a love interest role. They had time after all. Because while the old man did not believe in helping his son find acting roles, he did believe in not letting family go homeless. Her father-in-law had put them up in a nice, tidy 2-bedroom apartment downtown. Her neighborhood even had a nice park nearby. She often took Claire there, pushing her around in her pink little stroller. Her friends always told her how well she was doing. And she had to agree with them. Because while she didn't have everything she wanted, things were nice. Stable. Everything she never had growing up. But it was just a calm before the storm. It's kind of funny and kind of sad how all it takes is one phone call to ruin everything.
Hey, you and the missus had better get down here. There's been an accident.
And what an accident it had been. The TV star was doing his usual routine on stage in front of a live audience when a light fell from the rafters. It hit the man right on the head. She gave up a sigh of relief when she saw him in the hospital. He was still alive. He was going to wake up, go home, and nothing was going to change, is what she would have said if the first words out of his mouth when he opened his eyes weren't,
Hey, I can't see.
It all happened so fast. The old man wasn't as rich as she thought he was. Not if his money was already running out. They lost their apartment in the city. They even had to sell the car. That beautiful Mercedes with all of those memories attached. Any and all luxuries had to go. Eventually, it hit rock bottom. They had no choice. They moved in with the television star, whose light had faded. This wasn't her fault. This was everyone else's fault. They had let her down time and time again. But she would forgive them. She would be the bigger person. And if she waited, good things were bound to find her. Just like that faithful night when something good had walked into her bar. Yes, she would be patient, and it would all be worth it in the end. And she never stopped waiting. She sat around and waited for something good to come and find her, to come and save her. But when it didn't, she fell into a deep depression. She started using things to cope and mistreating everyone around her. She wasn't taking care of her own child. So, in summary, Grandpa is sick and not long for this world. Dad is self-absorbed, delusional, and constantly looking back, while Mom is cruel, using substances to numb her feelings of disappointment, while she bides her time, waiting for a hero to save the day. And the true victim in all of this? One poor little girl named Claire, who is using the power of escapism to get away from this horrible house and everyone in it. And that's how I imagined the story before the story of Opal began. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I also hope that you have a wonderful day. Until next time, shine bright, my starlings. Well, that's all I've got for you today, my starlings. If you enjoyed the video, please give that like button just a little bit of love. And also, please subscribe. You know, if you want to keep me company. And speaking of love, I want to give some love to my wonderful, my fabulous Patreons. Arigatou gozaimasu. You're all so wonderful. And I want to give a special shout out to Justin Singri, Caleb Short, and Gorishk. Thank you so much, everyone. You really are my superstars. And now, for all of my starlings, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.